Big welcome everybody to our live class, 12 o'clock every Wednesday. Don't forget to join us. So my name is Jeanette and I'm from Case Flower School, just for anyone that doesn't know. And behind camera we have Deirdre. Do you want to say hello?
Hello.
So big welcome everyone. Obviously we would love if you introduced yourself, let us know where you're watching in from, and let us know what the weather forecast is like around the world, not just in Ireland. So what I'm going to do today is something very simple. I just have these 3 glass containers and I just tied a little bit of fabric ribbon around the top of them. But like, you could use a jam jar, a pasta jar, do you know, that way, like basically any kind of glass containers that you happen to have at home. Just scrupulously wash them out, fill them with water, and if it's not possible to tie ribbon onto them, maybe see, can you glue ribbon around the outside? Like I see there, Lidl about 2 weeks ago had the glue guns for sale, and they have the art and craft glue gun, and they also have the glue gun which is suitable for the floral glue. But art and craft glue would do for this, just to attach maybe a little bit of hessian or twine going around it, just to make it a little bit different. So these are going to be little table centres. So what I have here in front of me is a selection of grasses, okay? So these are grasses that you can actually grow in your own garden, and believe it or not, these are actually all Irish grasses. So I have a selection of them. Now somebody's going to ask me what's the name of all the grasses. To be honest, I don't really know. I just bought them in as a selection. But listen, if you pop over to Grania at Grawcut Flowers or Anna at Big Sky Flowers, they'll be able to advise you on what type of grasses, you know, that way that you could maybe grow yourself, or again you can buy in. Now at this time of the year, you'll obviously might be able to get some sweet pea, again grown in your own garden, or again you could commercially buy it in. Or I see a lot of people have Astrantia grown, do you know, the way I absolutely love it. So what I'm just doing is picking up like a small little selection of flowers, you know, that way, no particular pattern. I also have a little bit of the Nigella, what we call like a love in the mist. I'm going to add in another few of these kind of like alternative grasses, you see, around the outside. Maybe a little bit more of the Astrantia. I'm bringing some of it low down. And I'm just making these simple little bunches of flowers, okay? And these are for just adding into your jam jar. Now again, if you're having a party, or even like say for a wedding, and again somebody wants to maybe decorate the tables themselves, you know, that way, with material from your own garden, it just shows you how simple this is. Just going to add in one more little bit of sweet pea. I have to say the scent of this sweet pea is absolutely divine. So I'm just cleaning down the stems, making sure that we have no foliage below, then just kind of trimming them off. I'm going to keep like our 3 little bunches different lengths. So there is one little bunch, do you know, that way, just in your vase. Now if anybody can't do that, I know it's probably a little bit late for end of school, you know, like for thank you presents for the teacher. But again, wouldn't these be ideal little presents, you know, that way, that the kids could make, you know, that way. And you know yourself, like I'm sure the teachers get sick of soap sets and boxes of chocolates, and not knocking them, do you know, that sort of way. But like something that the kids could get involved in. So again, I have a little bit of the sweet pea, a little bit of the Astrantia, just going to let some of it stick up just a little bit higher there. A selection of these grasses again. So if somebody would maybe tag Grawcut Flowers maybe in the comments below, it means people could pop over and follow Grania. And again, as I said, if you ask her any questions about the varieties of flowers or the varieties of the grasses, you know what I mean, she's so knowledgeable, but also she's so helpful, you know, that way. So again, just a selection here of our grasses, our Astrantia, a little bit of the sweet pea going through it. And I'm just going to cut this one a little bit taller this time. Again, just clean off any little foliage leaves that's kind of at the bottom there. That just helps to kind of keep your water clean. Grab them and we'll just add that one in there. So there we have another little bunch. So again, we'll just move it around. Might get another little bit into that phase now in a second. And now I'm going to make a 3rd little bunch. So again,
and Juliet wants to know, Jeanette, is this the type of flower arrangements you do on module 1?
Oh, absolutely not, no. So the best way I can probably describe our Wednesday live classes, okay, it's they're free classes, and it's more just kind of giving you a little bit of a taste. I keep them very, very simple for the person who has absolutely no experience at all. As I said, you know what I mean, I'm suggesting going out to the kitchen and a jam jar, do you know, that way that you have in the kitchen that you could use for this arrangement. So keeping it like really, really kind of simple, homemade, you know, that way. Though some weeks I do hand-tied bouquets and other weeks I do flower arrangements, you know what I mean? You'll always pick up something. But our courses are kind of more professional courses, kind of commercial courses, and they are really geared towards working in a flower shop or working from home on a commercial basis.
Yeah, Juliet's saying that she's done a flower course, but she didn't learn anything about pricing flowers or how to charge people.
So probably the course that you did is kind of similar to what I'm probably doing here with you now. Do you know that way? So with a commercial course, we kind of go more into like the suppliers, you know that way, setting up accounts with the wholesalers, buying your material in, you know what I mean, the treatment and the conditioning of it. I'm just adding a few little flowers kind of into these, just a little bit extra. Conditioning and treatment of the flowers, cost prices, registering for VAT, registering to open up an account, you know that way. So that's the type of thing that we're covering on the course, as well as learning all what you call your geometric shapes. And I'd be amazed, you know, there'll be people come to me and they've done a flower arranging class and I mentioned the word geometric shapes and they're saying, what? Like, and I said, yeah, there's actually 8 shapes that you have to learn in floristry or flower arranging, you know that way. And out of them 8 shapes, basically everything else kind of comes from that. So like when you go on to the likes of bridal work, you know that way, or hand-tied bouquets, or funeral work, you know what I mean, I'm just adding in a little bit of the oregano. We just kind of feel the colour, you know the way, the kind of bluey green colour, we're just going to add to it. Just giving us like lots of little textures in these arrangements.
They're actually, do you know what, they'd be gorgeous for like a barbecue. If you're having a barbecue and you just wanted to decorate the table,
fabulous,
like they're absolutely gorgeous.
And just a couple of the Love in the Mist Nigella. Like again, these are very easy to grow like in your own garden, and you can dry them as well. You can buy them in as a dried flower. I probably would have used quite a lot of these back in the day when dried is really popular, and the dried is very popular at the moment, you know what I mean, but just something a little bit different. Okay, don't waste any of these grasses, so I'm just going to cut them up and just add them into just an odd little vase. I'm nearly there. So there you go. So there's our 3 little jam jars, if you want to call them, right? And these jars came with a little wooden box. Now obviously you don't need it, but just to kind of like show you there where we can have, like, say, there's our first one there, there's our second one, and again you can display these, you know, that way, kind of completely different, and there's our third one. But I kind of wanted them to be a little bit different, you know, that way.
Wild,
it's nice from both sides, you know, that way. Wild and wonderful, and again it would make a lovely gift to give to somebody. But individually on their own, they're beautiful. Or even just grouped together like the way I had them on the turntable. Again, very simple idea. And as I said, for a thank you present for maybe the teachers at the end of the year, or even Easter time, or even Christmas time, like seasonal flowers. Like, so start collecting some jars, start decorating them with a little bit of, like, if you can get some of the hessian ribbon. Do you remember they had that in Little Araldi there?
That's right, yes, and they had the twine as well.
And again, you could glue that around your container. Do you know that way? A little bit of art and craft glue. Do you know the way? Just glue it around. And if anybody had like a nice lace fabric, you could glue lace on top of it as well. So again, maybe somebody that's interested in doing a little bit of DIY for their wedding arrangements, these would be lovely little ideas. You could start getting all the family and friends to collect all the jars. Like, the more random and different shapes they are, the better.
Start eating jam.
Start eating jam and pasta.
And pasta. Yeah, the Dolmio jars are actually great.
And
they're nice
what
and
about
tall.
gin bottles?
Gin bottles, yeah, they're very narrow
really
at the
nice
top though. That's the only thing.
Yeah,
You wouldn't fit.
Skinny. You could
You
make
could,
like, you know,
yeah.
like, there's not an awful lot of material in them.
I was actually in a bar recently and I was just getting a bottle of water and it came in a gin bottle. I was like, they're trying to rub it in.
Well, where was I? And the hand steriliser, actually the Vintage Cocktail Bar the other night, just off Dame Street, and the hand sanitizer was in the Drumshanbo gin bottle.
Oh,
even had the little squidgy thing on top, you know,
Wow,
so it just shows you. So Drumshanbo gin. Now maybe it was for sterilising their hands, you never know.
Yeah.
But that's what they were using. So listen, huge thanks for everybody who joined in today. As I said, it was short and sweet, something very, very simple. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, post them in the comments below. Make sure to share our video, or maybe tag somebody who you think may be interested in doing these simple little jam jar arrangements. So thanks a million for joining us. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.